Hello, I am Lee Keckner, and I'm so excited to be doing this one of three. Hi, Tammy. Nice to see you. I'm going to start over clean because I'm going to wait to talk to people after. Hello, it's Lee Keckner, and I'm so excited to be on number two of the series of three Explore. The first Explore I did is Explore Your Thoughts. And if you didn't catch that one, it is on this Facebook page right here that you can go back and watch it. Today, we're exploring our childhood, which is huge for our happiness and well being today. And the next one, August 12th, is exploring your body. And that's in way more ways than one. It might be a little sensual, but it's also how powerful our body and what a great ally it is when we get in tune with it and listen to what it's trying to tell us. So this is number two of my three 30-minute Facebook Lives, and these are all three leading up to my Mac Daddy, which is a 33-day, every day, private Facebook event, which is, I've done them in the past, and the communities that are built, and there's a couple people on right now who are part of them, of the people connecting from all over the nation and a couple around the world as well. And we really learn to love and support each other and then continue to be friends outside. So it's a really wonderful way to actually change your life, and it's money back guaranteed. If you don't get some things that really change your life, I'm happy to give you your money back because it's such powerful stuff and it's that important. For me, being a person who wants to spread love on the planet, is helping people identify the barriers that keep them from it. I encourage you to grab a pen and a paper. So any of those moments that move you, you can jot them down so you don't forget while you're listening. And we're going to start off like I do with everything I do, which is with three grounding breaths. We all have giant to-do lists, and or maybe not. I don't even know what we all have really, but we all have a lot of things going on anyway in our mind constantly. So this is just a moment to take time for yourself and to set the intention to show up for yourself and to quiet your mind and to be present to receive what you can. So with your feet on the ground, and just let your feet touch the ground and just feel how they're perfectly held by an invisible force. I love that so much. My favorite things are invisible forces. And feel your butt on your chair, on your couch, on your floor, on your bed, that you're just perfectly supported and held. And just take a moment to even notice your breath, to feel the air coming in through your nose and out through your nose, and how when you breathe in it's cool, and when it comes up your body heats it up and sends it out to do good on the planet. And then together let's take 3 breaths. We'll do in through our nose, hold for 2, and exhale audibly out of your mouth. And when you exhale, really release something you're ready to let go of. And I always inhale more love. I'm going to inhale abundance today and exhale heaviness. Okay, so we'll go in through our nose, hold, exhale, ah. Next breath in, hold, exhale, ah. Really release on this last breath. In through your nose, hold, ah. Thank you so much. And when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open, and that already calms me immediately. And I love how simple and easy that is to calm myself, or that we have that tool. My intention today is to say the words that have affected my life, and to say the words that you have shown up to hear. And I encourage you to set your intention right now, because when you just show up and say, oh, I'll see what happens, usually you don't get the most out of life. But when you show up knowing, I have this going on in my life, I don't really like it, let me hear something today that might help shift that. So come with an intention, because when you come knowing what you want and what you need, it can be met. Otherwise, you're just going to hear a bunch of great stuff. Either way, it's a win-win. So we're talking about exploring your childhood. I want to read a quote I saw by Oprah Winfrey. Healing the wounds of the past is one of the biggest and most worthwhile challenges of life. It is important to know when and how you were programmed, so you can change the program. Doing so is your responsibility, no one else's. Oh, I don't know if this is still her quote, but I like it. There is one irrefutable law of the universe. We are each responsible for our own life. If you are holding anyone else accountable for your happiness, you are wasting your time. You must be fearless enough to give yourself the love you did not receive. So I know a lot of times we're like, if my mom would have done this, or if she would have loved me, or if this didn't happen to me, or whatever. Those are just thoughts we hold that keep us out of the present moment and keep us from abundance in all aspects of our life. So it's fun with your childhood exploration to realize how much is still inside of our body that we're not even aware of that we're holding. And anything negative is a barrier from love, which is abundance in all aspects of life. Okay, the first thing that I want to talk to. Oh, I said we are exploring our childhoods. Why? So we can find the lingering negative beliefs, thoughts, and hurts that are holding us back from abundance today. The first thing I want to talk about is a pebble. And I believe a pebble is this thing that happens when we're in our childhood. Something happens that's so painful to the bone, and our little mind can't even comprehend what the hell just happened. And so it creates a story to try and process it. And then we actually carry that story into our adulthood, and it sabotages our adulthood unless we become aware of the story. So I call that story a pebble. And I can remember specifically when my pebble was created. But I believe that we put these little pebbles on our little kid heads, and we're trying to like walk around going, no, I can't do that. Can't you see my pebble? I'm not worthy. No, I can't, from whatever we experience. And then eventually that pebble drops down into the center of our mind. And that becomes the lens that we see the world as. So the story I created, and I'll talk more about it in a bit, was that I'm unworthy. And so that sunk in. So everything I saw in my life supported my thought of being unworthy. So I didn't get the promotion, or that guy didn't like me, or I auditioned for something and didn't get it, and it was just this nonstop, like me trying to go like this. But then, of course, they couldn't hire me because I came with the energy of I'm unworthy, so don't really mess about it. We're going to go through the steps, but I don't know I'm deserving to have it, so I can't have it. From a thought that I created when I was 7. The thoughts we normally create from our experience, or the one Mac Daddy experience that really sunk in, is I'm unworthy, I'm not enough, I'm unlovable, and I don't matter. I think that the I'm unworthy is the most common story that we create because we can't make heads or tails of what's really happening with these adults around us. So we just think, I guess I suck, right? I'm unworthy. And then that goes in. So my pebble, I'm going to just give a quick example of my pebble when I formed it, the thought, so you kind of can start thinking about your own situation. My mother was mentally ill, and she was locked behind her bedroom door, and my dad worked all the time, and I didn't have access to my mom. And I can remember one time in particular, I had gotten in a fight. It was in 2nd grade, and somebody made fun of my friend Kim Ift, and it was 2 boys, and I told them they better watch themselves or I was going to get them, kind of thing. And then on my way home from school that day, one of them punched me in the side of my head, and the other pushed me, and I fell like in a dirt patch, and my ear hurt so bad. I had just gotten my ears pierced, and there was blood trickling down from my ear, and it was stinging, and I didn't even know what happened, but I saw the 2 guys take off running away. I knew who it was, but I got my backpack up, and I was crying so hard because it was so shocking, and of course to get hit, and I'm bleeding, and I went the back way home so nobody would see me, and through the yards, and I went through my backyard, the back porch, up the stairs, down the hall to my mother's bedroom, and I was in hysteria, like, you know, when a little kid can't catch their breath, and I'm in 2nd grade, and I'm pounding on my mom's door, saying, "Mom, please, this time seriously, I need you. Mom, please let me in. Mom, Mom." And then I was trying to get quiet to see if she'd say anything, and I tried the door, and it was locked, which was normal, but I just kept pleading because although I knew normally she wouldn't answer, I needed her so desperately that I kept trying. So finally I was pounding and wiping my snot and trying to, and then I heard the familiar words, "Go away, I'm sleeping." And I just remember, like, all the years leading up to that, it didn't really hit me that it was a big deal until that moment when I really needed her. because I was scared and shaking and bleeding and crying, and I needed my mommy. And I just remember going to the guest bathroom and stepping inside and looking at myself in the mirror, and I got like a washcloth and I got it warm, and I started wiping my snot and my tears and the blood from my ear, and I wiped it again, and then I just dropped it and looked at myself in the mirror, and I was like, I don't need her. I don't need anybody. I'm fine by myself. I don't need anyone. And in that instant, I created the thought, I'm not even good enough for my own mother to get out of bed. And screw it. I don't need her. And so I lived that. And I created that when I was 7 years old. And I put it here and it sunk in. And then as I got older, I lived the life of unworthiness by going wild and not knowing myself and partying, getting drunk and making out and doing just running wild like a person who's lost. And that is how I felt. So it's so interesting how this little story can affect our life, and it affected mine for 23 years until I met my estranged husband, and his kind of unconditional love helped me start melting that story and that armor so I could start to open to life in new ways, which was magical for me. So having awareness that we do create this thought, and usually it's I'm unworthy and it's something that spurred it, but unless we know it's there right now, as an adult, it's still showing up to sabotage us. Sometimes don't you overreact to things, or you get overly hurt about something, or you spin something that wasn't even real, and it's just like, oh my gosh, that was a little bit bigger response than, where did that come from? So we still have this like young part inside of us that didn't have her needs met and is kicking and screaming, is still tough as hell. So I have to like calm her. I'm here now. I got you. The grown-up version is taking over. Thank God. And usually that's who's leading my life. Usually. So what is the story? And you can just think about it. You can pop down. If anything pops into your mind right now, just jot it down. What is the story you formed of yourself from one instance? If you can think back, if you share mine of not feeling good enough or unworthy or you don't matter or you're not lovable, whatever it is, think back on possibly when that could have been created. And as we move into the 33-day thing that I'm going to do, we're really going to dive deep into this right now. I'm just touching on it to get you kind of thinking that thought is not real. It's a lie that you created when you were little to make sense of something, but it's not who you are at all. And it still impedes with our life today. So just jot down if anything comes up with you that. And like I said, in the 33-day program, we'll get deep to identify it and to pull it out and to work with it and then eventually crush it and let it go off to do something good and make room for good in our bodies. The second thing that I'll be talking about more in depth, but I'm touching on now, is exploring your pebble. And I think that we do that when we really explore why it was formed, who the people were that were a part of it, what was going on in their life. We really allow ourselves to see the other side or to have a new perspective. That's when the miracle happens. That's when our life can shift. So you can take a look at that pebble. What mine was, I'm unworthy. Is that true? Well, the answer to that is no. No matter what's happened in your life up until this moment, the answer is always, am I unworthy? No. Why? Because you're breathing and you matter. Oh no, it's because you matter and I can't even remember. You're worthy and you matter just because you're breathing. And why I say that is we're all created in the likeness of God. The kingdom of God is within us. Every religion says it. And so our spinning mind, our spinning thoughts of our childhood, they're still implanted in our bodies, whatever, keeps us from this, which is our true self, which is worthy of all that is because we're directly linked with God, which is abundance beyond anything our limited brains have any awareness of. So why did it form? Because your young mind couldn't make sense of what was going on. Why did it form? So you had something to learn from and overcome as an adult, and maybe use it to help other people who might be going through the same thing, or use it to give yourself power to do what you're really here to do. So we all get something in our childhood that is in us, and it's ours to pull it out and go, oh wow, it's not serving me anymore. Bye-bye. It can be that easy, but I can also work with you when we do the program. How did that story you created protect you when you were young? For me, It protected me from the sadness and overwhelm I was feeling, which was a puddle of mush. So when I said, I don't need her, I don't need anyone, and I'm not even good enough for her, well, I don't need her. When I created that story, it gave me the power to be strong and push through regardless of my circumstances, which is what I needed to do as a kid. I needed to keep pushing through and showing up in life. But I had to create this really tough exterior to protect my tender heart. And then I carried that tough exterior into my adulthood. And holy hell, it didn't fit, especially when I got into the spiritual stuff. I'm like, oh, then I was able to kind of trace it back and know why I created it and have compassion for it, right? It's having compassion once you kind of explore it and have a new perspective. Is it serving me now? Is the old thought that you created about being unworthy or unlovable, is it serving you now? Hell no, it's not. If you're thinking you're unlovable and you're like, I can't meet a guy, I can't, or my marriage fell apart, or I can't find another guy, or I'm on dating apps and no one likes me, or everyone else is getting attention but me, like whatever it is, if you're holding the thought I'm unlovable, you're putting a giant barrier between you and the other people. So it's so amazing to explore what we're holding and the thoughts and the beliefs and the stuff still in our body, because they are barriers to what we really desire. Do you know that your negative thoughts are lies? They're not real. Do you know we spend about 80,000 thoughts a day and about 95% of those are negative? So we're constantly spinning in a crazy universe here, which isn't real. What's real is I'm okay, I'm at peace, and I was created perfectly the way God created me. And when I can get out of here, that's why I talked about thoughts first, and get back to here, I'm solid, regardless of what's happening out here. Negative thoughts separate us from our true self, and they cause us suffering, as well as they act as a barrier to abundance in love, work, family, and money. The biggest lie we hold is the one that we created when we were young, and it causes us the most suffering today. So that is the foundation of so anyway, our mind, or kind of the spinning craziness, the foundation of it is the lie that we're holding from when we were little that isn't happening now, and it's just a young person's perspective on something they didn't know anything about. So it's just a made-up story, and we're holding ourselves back with made-up stories. All right, I put, if you guys are interested in connecting with your younger self, I created this 33-day program, kind of like the one I'm going to do. It's free on my website. It's called Coming Home, and the link is in this thread. So the very first 7 days of Coming Home is just connecting with your younger self. And trust me, there's nothing more healing or more beautiful than taking care and loving that part of you that you feel didn't get the right love then, that you can do it now. And as you do that, some people haven't heard about this or whatever, and they think it's stupid or silly or whatever. It's so healing that it really propels you forward in life, and you do start attracting abundance in ways you never imagined, because you know that you've got you. You don't need anyone outside of you to have you. So anyway, if you want to check that out, it's free. The link is there. You can just check out this first 7 days of it. It's really beautiful to connect with your younger self. The third thing, so we've got our Pebble, then we have kind of exploring the Pebble or having a new perspective on it. And the third thing is replacing the old Pebble with a new, love, shiny, polished Pebble. So anytime you take something out, or you pull out an old hurt and you work with it and you really release it and resolve it, you need to fill that space with love, right? Because it's kind of an old open wound, and it can get some infection, and something else could jump in there. So you really want to, as soon as you extract something and you let it go and you forgive, and I love forgiveness because it's not really what you think it means. It's something way more beautiful that's only to do with you, not the other person. I'll get to that in a second. But so instantly when you pull it out, you let it go, and then you want to replace it. So an example of that would be, you want to write a new Pebble for your adult healthy self. So my Pebble was, I'm not even good enough for my own mother to get out of bed. And my new love Pebble that I replaced it with is, I am worthy beyond measure and deserving of all of the abundance the universe has to offer. which is limitless. And I had to kind of put that next to my bed, like a little strip tape, so I could look over and remind myself I am worthy of all of the abundance life has to offer. And I did that until that became my new norm, till it really filled that hole, till the old thought was just an old thought. And when it comes back up, oh shit, I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm fearful of this. I'm like, oh, it's just a reminder. I need to go back and tell me I got me. And I also know it's a path that I must walk, because I always walk straight into fear now. I mean, not jumping off a building with no parachute, but straight into things that make me nervous, because the second I get in it, it dissipates. And I realize those are just thoughts. They're just lies keeping me from my greatness. So that's it. When we do the 33 days together starting August 30th, we will really dive into each of those and explore them and get everything out on the table. And you can literally start just moving things around, making your pile of things you're ready to let go of. And then you'll also go, holy hell, I didn't even know I was still holding that thought. Regarding abundance, right now, I'm doing some really big things that I will be bringing in really big investors and money to support, because it's for the good of the world. It's my part giving back to the world, and money is needed for it. And I found myself recently at a dinner going, oh, money doesn't matter much to me. And I'm about to go out to investors. On the way home, I was like, wow, where did that thought come from? Money is just an object that we can use for the glory of God, that we can help people with, that we can do what we're here to do, being in joy and happiness and abundance and experiencing an abundant life, and use it to be of service and help and make a difference. So money is an amazing thing. The root of the evil of it is when we make that our God and our focus. But when our focus is here, which is directly connected to God, and then money is something that we're going to bring in for our health and well-being and happiness and experiences and giving back, is where the magic of money and abundance comes. So I still find myself with little nuggets that I have to pull out and say, for some reason that served me at some point in my life, but it doesn't anymore, because I'm an open flow to give and receive abundance. The final the third of this series, this was two, the third one, which is August 12th, is Explore Your Body. That's what's coming up next. So you can just catch it right here, and the information's in this post about it. And that's amazing. It's not just the kind of sensual touch stuff, which I've been exploring like never before in my entire life. And I'm just realizing that we are here to experience bliss and pleasure in all of our life, even in our sensuality or being with ourselves or with another person. It's just amazing what we can experience when we let our mind kind of open to our old thoughts. So also, our bodies are freaking amazing. They're one of our greatest allies. Our bodies talk to us every day. And usually, if you're not in tune with your body, or you check in with it daily, or if you get an ache or pain, you go, hey, why are you showing up? What's going on? What do you have to tell me? Like, I want to hear you. I don't want to blow my shoulder out by doing whatever I'm doing that's not taking care of you or the rest of my body. So our bodies are always talking to us. If you're not in tune with it, then you blow out your shoulder, you throw out your back. But there's always you'll find warning signs leading up to it that we just plow through and ignore. But no, we want to slow down. I mean, our body this is our one earth suit, our one vehicle, our one ship that we get to navigate on this planet. And if this is not healthy, all hell's going to break loose. So we're going to explore our bodies. We're going to listen to our aches and pains. We're going to explore new ways of being in pleasure realm, all of it. I mean, our bodies are magnificent, and the more we're in tune with it and loving it and learning from it and working together to take care of each other, all of it, it's all related.